Wasn't that a lovely song?
I really like it. I think it sounds excellent.
It was not my first choice.
You?
Here's the funny story. So we were sitting here like, let's go ahead. We got to get a theme song. And there's just no time to do anything with kids and jobs and everything. So it literally came down to, 3 hours ago. And I was like, I got to do this. And I was dicking around with a guitar riff and stuff. And Sarah's just like, sounds like King of the Hill. And I was like, that's the one that was in my head all week. That was my idea. And so I'm like, well, shit. There goes that. So I started playing this riff that I literally wrote when I was 14 years old. And she's like, I really like that. And I'm like, seriously?
Seriously.
So I sat at the computer and put our thingy together, and there we go.
Well, I really like it. I think it's a good intro song. No words needed. And I would like to welcome you, husband, and
Thanks.
Listeners.
Thank you.
This is He Said, She Said podcast.
It's a relationship podcast.
Yeah.
So as to separate ourselves from other He Said, She Said podcasts.
Correct.
Which there's one about finance, one about sports.
Was the finance one something about buying houses?
I don't know. I think
saw
so.
their Facebook
I just
page.
Googled it, but I'm like, it's such a common thing. I'm like, I don't care. If we get sued, we get sued. That's why we added the He Said, She Said, a relationship podcast.
Correct.
So if you listen to all of the He Said, She Saids, we're that one.
Yeah. And on Facebook, you can find us He Said, She Said podcast. You can search us that way. On Instagram, we are He Said, She Said PC at He Said, She Said PC. And or email if you want to send us an email and tell us things we're doing correct or maybe not so correct, or if you have a question.
Don't tell us bad things.
It'll hurt
we
our
would
feelings.
really love to hear to ask for relationship advice, parenting advice,
life advice in general.
Life advice.
Really.
I mean, and not just relationships. Sarah and I've both experienced things in our lives, like even before we met each other, before kids and family, that we can help.
Yeah, and I feel like we most of the time are pretty successful adults when we want to be. So yeah, that email is he said she said pc at gmail.com.
Gmail.com.
So
also, I just want to jump in real quick and say, by the time you listen to this, we'll probably already be on iTunes, but it takes a little bit to process. So, but I just wanted to mention
that people can search us
if
on
they
iTunes.
by chance were listening to this directly from our host,
Right.
which we have hosting through Podbean, just give a little shout out. Competitive prices on a great plan. I did some searching because we're
I believe
pinching.
you.
Our family pinches pennies,
Oh, yeah.
and I searched around to find a better host, and it was really the best one.
Okay.
So
Well, let's get on with
Podbean,
it.
if you guys are randomly screening podcasts and you want to give us money, sweet, do it. So anyway, why are we here?
Why are we here? Well, we've been together, or married at least, for 7 years. And I'm sorry, I have to adjust my microphone slightly. I need to be able to sit up straight.
Yeah.
There we go.
So
Okay.
we only have one mic, so we have a boom stand that's made into the shape of a T. With I have my mic is held on with a
Take a picture real quick.
with a. I'm
Gross.
sorry. Hey, that's things you got to deal with in a marriage.
Excuse you.
Sorry.
I don't know if I can get both of us.
I'm in a robe.
Hey, we keep it real.
No, let me at least wrap myself in a blanket.
It's okay. I didn't even take a picture. I locked my phone instead because I'm not awesome with technology.
Oh no, you're getting old.
Okay. I don't even know. Okay. So anyway.
But anyway, so we have this rigged up pretty funny. So,
But regardless.
so why are we here?
We are here because we have been married for 7 years. We are currently parenting 3 daughters, ages 14, 10, and 1 year. Well, technically she's 15 months, but we're not those people. She's a year. She'll be a year and a half in the near future. But for now, she's a 1-year-old. Anyway. So anyway, we've had some good times. We've had some bad times. And the biggest thing is we've learned so much in that time that we thought, hey, why not take an hour a week or maybe an hour every 2 weeks, sit down and talk to each other and see if we can maybe help some people in the process.
And I'm seeing it as a sort of airing of grievances.
That too.
So, I got a lot of problems with you people.
But anyway.
I've been watching a lot of Seinfeld lately.
So we like to pretend we know what we're doing in regards to life. And maybe someone will listen to this, at least like people we know, maybe. I don't know.
It's fine. I'm looking for it as sort of like a, the people who know us, like, not everyone, but people do ask me for advice because they're always like, well, I know a couple years ago this happened to you.
Right.
And then like after that happens like 20 times, you're like,
and you tell the same story
well,
over
that,
and
like,
over again.
Bad shit happened. What the heck?
Yeah.
So we're like, you know what? We'll just ask your questions via email.
Plus, this also, it gives us a reason to sit down and actually talk to each other after kid bedtime instead of, you know,
Binging
anything and everything television,
Yeah.
which we still will probably squeeze in an episode.
That's it.
Something.
Let's be honest. Would we be recording right now if Game of Thrones, Walking Dead?
Well, don't say that because
I'm
those
just saying.
things are going to come back.
Yeah, I know. So, but Game of Thrones doesn't come back till summer now. It got pushed.
Oh, it did. I remember you telling me that.
Yeah. And all my other shows don't come back till like April, I think. So we're good for a few weeks.
Yeah. Well, you know, we'll see. I'm sure we can work in an hour here or there. Not a big deal. So I thought a good thing for this episode would be for each of us to just do a quick little, who are we, little background on ourselves, just so you listeners can relate and just, you know, kind of get to know us. So I will go first because ladies first, even though I don't know if that applies if you say it yourself. Anyway.
Not in Trump's America.
Let's not even go there. Not tonight, at least. Excuse me. Sorry. So I was born and raised in Middletown, Ohio, just north of Cincinnati. And I'm the youngest of 3. I have a sister and a brother. I consider myself a nerd, a lifelong nerd, like way before it was cool. And I've worn glasses since I was 6. That goes right along with that. And I read a lot as a kid. I was always kind of doing my own thing, sort of a late bloomer. And I moved away from Middletown after high school. I went to Wright State University in Dayton, Ohio, where I have lived in and around since. So I thought I would go to school for much longer than I did. PhD was in my plan at one point. But
And what messed that up?
well, I mean, it wasn't just meeting a young, strapping, handsome fellow in a band, but it was also, reality kind of sets in when you are paying your own way through college, student loans.
Oh, yeah. Rent.
Right. Student loans, man. Yeah. So anyway, I met my husband when I was in college, and that kind of changed my plan, but, you know, I think it was a good idea. I think it was a good choice.
Worked out for me.
You know. So now, what about you, Luke? We haven't said our names.
Oh. Hey, I'm Luke.
I'm Sarah. Go ahead.
I think we might have. Who knows?
I don't think so. Wait, maybe we did. Anyway.
It doesn't matter. I am from a tiny little town northeast of Columbus called North Lewisburg. It is the definition of a little one stoplight town that you find between bigger towns. But I had a wonderful upbringing there, and I cherish my memories.
Can I interject? the day he got the news that they were building a subway in his hometown, he told me, and he was like, "Oh my God, Sean just texted me. They're putting in a subway." And I was just like, okay. Like, I didn't understand. And he's like, "No, this is a big deal. We don't have chain restaurants in North Lewisburg." So just to give you guys a sense of where he's from, it's a very small community.
And it's not just a chain restaurant. Like, if we got a McDonald's, I'd be like, whoop-de-doo.
At least it was a healthy
more
option.
Shitty food. I was like,
healthier.
I just really like Subway.
Okay, go ahead.
Anyway, I had a great upbringing there, and my original plan was to go into psychology. But then that got railroaded by dreams of being a rock star, as one does.
Well, I mean, you found me in the process,
yeah.
so I mean, one thing worked out.
There was one minor success. So I played in a band called Lumberjack Death Squad for a while. And I will say, like, that was the band that I knew we weren't going to be rock stars. Before then, there was lots of terrible music.
You still thought a little bit in Lumberjack that you guys might.
I knew we wouldn't be rock stars. I thought we had the potential to be something bigger. And I'm not ashamed to say it. We wrote some darn good music. By the way, if I can do some cross promotion, speaking of Lumberjack Death Squad, on my other podcast, Two Dudes Drinking, that I do with the guitar player for Sean and some say my hetero life mate, and as Sean's brothers say, my wife. The joke. We actually just recorded. We had to split it up into 3 parts because Dustin, another member of Lumberjack Death Squad, the bass player, we just started telling old stories and stuff, and we're like, oh man, we just got to keep going, and we ended up getting 3 episodes out of it. So that's going to air. So if you guys want to hear about that band, go check out Two Dudes Drinking. It's another podcast.
It's a little bit of a different feel than what we're
Very
going for
much,
here.
It's less relationshipy and more just like
bullshitty.
Yeah, it's basically, when you have conversations when you're drunk with your friends, and then you go like, why aren't we recording this? We decided to start recording it. Anyway, if you want to listen to that, that's fine. But you're already here, so now you get to listen to us. So anyway, once I decided that being a rock star was a little harder of a nut to crack, I went to college to become a graphic designer. And that is what I currently do. And I also do art and stuff like that on the side.
I guess I could share what I do right now, too. I forgot about that part.
Oh, go ahead.
I skipped over it.
You got to wait.
Okay, sorry. Go
wait
ahead.
your turn. I try to find time for, like, art and music and stuff. And which that kind of goes with what we'll talk about, the sort of lesson of the day. It kind of goes a lot with that. So, I mean, that basically catches you up on me. 3 kids, all girls, and I have 1 failing heart. So
what?
Because my heart knows what's coming.
Oh, I see. Nice.
Do you realize at one point all of them are going to be dating? Like. Yeah.
It's stressful to think about. Let's not go there right now.
Yeah.
Let's just, no.
Wrap your mind around that.
So, just real quick, right now, I forgot about college major. My major in college was sociology, and I currently work as a recruiter for consumer market research. I worked in an office until August of 2015. And that location closed, and I somehow swindled my way into keeping my job.
You earned it because you work very hard.
Well, I mean, the day they told me the lab was closing, I said, I can do this from home. Do we think that's a possibility? So I started working it as soon as I knew.
Let's also say you were pregnant.
I was pregnant. So.
And was that right before I got laid off or right after?
The week the lab was closing, you called me and told me. I
was downsized.
Yeah. So anyway, I do that from home full time and take care of the littlest all day long and the middle and the in between time from school. So this was kind of a chance, this podcast, to get me a little more connected to the outside
On that note,
world.
we do want to point out we are a blended family.
are.
I came built in with 2 children, and then once the kids are old enough to take care of themselves, not like get a job, but I'm saying like,
where are you going with this?
well, the fact that a lot of people, when their kids are old enough to like, when they start really developing their personality and stuff, because Nevi was 8 or 9 when we decided to have another kid.
Yeah.
Most people at that point are like, nuh-uh.
Oh, I see. We started over.
We're like, oh, here we go. Let's
Right.
have one of our own. And so then now
We'll
now
have
we
a whole
our,
episode about that whole
Right.
decision-making process.
Now we have our dear little 1-year-old, and she's a little firecracker already. She's a little bowling ball. I made a joke, or I didn't make the joke, but I told Sarah the other day that I've been listening to the books on tape for Game of Thrones, and one of the jokes they make for one of the characters, Arya, is that her dad calls her Arya Underfoot because she's always running around and in the way and constantly on the go. And that passage went, I immediately thought like, oh my God, that's Sydney.
It really is.
She's everywhere.
And she's just on when she is awake. Like, it's like if you watch her, we have a fancy 21st century video monitor. And if you watch her wake up from a nap, she literally sits up and is moving and as soon as she wakes up. Like,
oh, yeah.
Sometimes as she's gotten older, she'll lay down and like roll around and talk a little bit. But like most of the time she's up and she's like talking and rocking and like jumping around like, okay, I'm ready to play. Okay. Anyway. So that's us
basically
before we met each other. And then I thought it would be a fun little thing to have each of us share the first impression of the other one. And we'll keep this short so we get to the actual advice part eventually. But just as a little getting to know our relationship, since we did kind of start off kind of unconventional for the time and also for our age, we didn't spend a ton of time together in the beginning. And I think
not at all
that like sharing the first impressions might just give you guys a little window into our early relationship. So I'll go first.
So
I'm going to tell you my first impression of you when we first met. Like, not the first moment, but like in those early days.
10-4.
So I have notes, so I'm going to reference my notes.
Also, little window into our marriage. Sarah has 2 pages of notes, and I was like, I can't use this. Just give me like some quick bullet points.
So I outlined my notes, and it's funny to me.
Which I think it helps with our marriage that we're opposites in that way, where I'm just like...
True. We balance each other.
Just bullet point, and I'll go off the cuff, and you're like, I need a 17-page script.
Well, I'm not reading from it. It's just I like to familiarize myself with it.
Every word she says has been scripted. Don't believe her.
Whatever. Okay. So, my first impressions of you, I thought you were very handsome.
Of course. I mean... even with my bad teeth and stupid hair.
At the time we met, I had taken a break from dating. It had almost been a year because I was not picking very good guys, to put it bluntly. So I was a little wary because of 2 reasons. The band. You're in a band. Like, you always, like, ooh, band guys. Don't know if that's the best idea. Although, secretly, I loved it. But, like, the other half, like, the logical side of me was like, oh, do you really want to do that? And
you're like
then,
the ladies that attach to football players. You're like, maybe he'll go pro.
I mean, maybe. And then
we made at least $30 or $40.
The other, you probably made more than that, but
move on.
People drink a lot, and
yeah, we did.
You know, that's where it goes. Anyway,
go ahead.
Oh, I thought you paused us for some reason.
No, I hit
it was a cord.
I hit the cord.
Okay. And the other reason I was a little worried was the baggage in the form of the baby mama drama area.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's part of the reason why we took things so slow. So.
Most people are like, oh, I'm not going to date a guy with a kid. And you're just like, why not 2 kids? And, yeah.
You know, it's all good.
Yeah.
So, on top of all these things, I thought you were really funny and really smart, even though, I mean, you've gone through some tough times, but you still, like, this is going to be really sappy, but you still you did your best to make me feel special to you as much as you could at that time. And that was huge to me at that time. Like, it's not like I had a lot of money. I was in college. So
I didn't either. I'm still paying off the loans to make you feel special.
Oh, whatever. Not that he didn't make me feel that special. There wasn't any grand gestures, but I'm not that type of girl. So
Yeah.
it really worked out. But all my guy friends really liked you, and that was huge.
Well, it also worked because even though we sort of started talking online, it turns out that we tangentially sort of knew each other.
Right.
Like, chances are we could have totally, like,
Met in person.
bumped into each other and be like, oh, excuse me.
Right.
Because in the band, it turns out that a band that we played with, shout out to the Riot Act, it turns out that they were, like, buddies with you. And we were
Right.
like, and you went to their shows and stuff. And we were like, because I remember there was a party or something. And I remember, I think I saw Jesse and Yogi. And I was like, those are the guys. Oh,
Right.
Yay, I know people. The reason I say that is because even though I'm talking now, like in certain settings, I can be very sociable and you can't get me to shut up. But if I'm uncomfortable, I close up.
You're very quiet.
So quiet and tight. Like I'm a social, what do you call it? I'm a social clamshell.
You're an introvert when it comes to being in environments you're not familiar with or people you don't know.
So it was nice that, like, you know, she's like, oh, we're going to go hang out at my friend's house.
Oh, right. I remember.
And I was like, oh, there's people I know.
That was
crap, we play shows with these guys.
Actually, the night after our first official date, we saw some really depressing movie, and then we went to dinner, and then, like, we still had time left over because, like, neither of us wanted the night to end.
Yeah, I'm sure it was so magical.
So I knew the guys were always having a party.
It was so magical.
So I took them
you want
there.
to split the check? 60-40.
Anyway.
You've got student loans, so you get 60. Sorry.
Okay. That's enough about
Okay.
that.
Anyway,
so now you have to talk about me. But try not to ramble because we don't want to bore them.
Right. My first thought was, well, it's funny enough, one of the pictures I commented with online was her brother was wearing a Misfits shirt in a picture on MySpace. Remember MySpace?
Oh, God.
So, and back in the MySpace days, like, you would find any reason to talk to any stranger, and it was just normal. And then you would hope they would comment back and send you a message, and you could get to chatting. And I just left a comment on one of Sarah's pictures about her brother's Misfits shirt.
I don't remember that at all.
And
that's so weird.
That kind of started the ball rolling. And then we actually, a lot of our first conversations were about how much we hated Christmas. Because at the time, we were both just, like, not feeling it. And
I remember
just because
that.
of, like, money and family trouble and not your family.
No, my family a little bit.
Well, we'll get in. For another time we can talk. We'll get into my part of it too, why Christmas is so tough for me. But that it was kind of like a what do you call that?
Like a common ground.
No, what do you call that thing where you're both kind of enjoying that you're both sad about something?
Misery loves company.
There you go. That's it. So it was one of those, and, like, I was kind of like, I kind of like this chick. She's cynical and all that. But, like, I liked your glasses a lot, and there was something about that.
Which is nice because not everyone wore glasses back then.
Right. That was before it was cool.
Right.
Now that it's cool, I have glasses.
Old man with
Yeah.
your graying beard.
That
your
happened because,
gray beard hair.
Like,
beard
I'd be
hairs.
playing video games and leaning into the TV, and she'd be like, "You seriously can't see that?" And I'd be like,
No, listen, people. I had been bugging him for like 4 years to go get his eyes checked because I've worn glasses practically more than my entire life, since I was 6. So I go every single year because it's just part of my life. And I'm like, honey, you should really get them checked. Like,
I just remember going, "They're fine."
And I was seeing how close he was holding the iPad to his face in bed at night. I'm like, you need to go get them. And then he finally goes, and they're like, yes.
Funny
you need
story to
glasses.
that, though. Like, I got glasses, and the whole thing where you put them on for the first time, and you're like, holy shit, I can see. But what's funny is I play a lot of video games, which we'll also get to a story, not story, but more of a pointer for relationships in this episode. But I don't care. I'm in my mid-30s and still love video games.
A lot of guys do.
I
don't
know,
think you
but
need to apologize for that.
well, but I come from the generation where, when I was younger, it was a toy for, like, little kids. Do I need to pause, or are you gonna?
No, I'm okay.
Sarah tied a string around her finger
On accident.
she
I
can't
was
get
trying
it
to
off.
pull it off my sweatshirt.
Anyway,
and now it's stuck.
when I put the glasses
I'm
on for the first time, I was like, "Oh wow!" And then I remember I was playing Madden on the PS4, and literally like the week before, I'm like, "Oh, this is a pretty fun game." I was like, "But the graphics, like, they're okay. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's cool, but I mean, they're not that good." And then I put the glasses on and played, and I was like, "Oh, holy shit! I can actually see like the crispness." And I was like, "Okay, sorry, next generation gaming." Anyway, I liked your glasses. I liked your voice. I liked that you were brave/dumb enough to drive to Columbus to come see a crappy
That's
punk
true.
band in a.
Very shithole.
Hey,
like, it was a dive
It
of all
is,
dives.
but that was the best dive. Bernie's
I mean, it
Distillery.
was. Did it close?
Yeah.
Oh.
That was like when I read that news. Like, when
I think
places
last
close.
time we went in 2014 when you guys played. You and Sean played
Did we?
with Tony and
Was that
the other guy.
2014?
Yeah.
No.
Or was it 13? 2013. We lived in Kettering still. Yeah, it was like 4 years ago.
Did me and Sean like play a show, or did we go?
No, you and Sean played and
Turbo Goat. We
Yeah.
did a Turbo Goat show.
That's what I meant.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Anyway.
That was fun. Yeah, me and Sean, my other wife, we not only do we do a podcast and we're in bands in the past, but we also write comedy music, and we have a comedy duo called Turbo Goat. So feel free to check that out on iTunes.
Okay, so you met me and I was wonderful and I had glasses.
Yes, pretty
and,
much. Well, but we got to know each other, and the best way to sum it up is like we got to know each other over a long period of time because you were busy, I had family and stuff, and I was very serious, and still am very serious about my children. Like, I would never, if I had plans with the kid/kids, like, sorry about your luck, we're not doing anything this weekend.
I respected that, and I mean, I was in school and I was working, and I mean, it was just really slow going, and that was okay. And I remember a lot of my friends, I would talk about you to them and, give them the like general idea, and they're like, "Sarah, are you sure about this guy? Like, you really think that's a good idea?" And I'd be like, I do.
Not really.
Well, no, because if I remember saying this, I said this so many times with so many different friends. If it was any other person, I wouldn't still be seeing him, like, personality wise. Like, if he wasn't who he was,
Yeah,
I wouldn't be pursuing this because, of course, like, the baggage and the drama.
Right.
No one wants that.
Well,
I am not one of those people. Trust me.
To coattail that, what helped is since we did take so long to get to know each other, like, that allowed us to get past those first impressions of, like,
well, it's like we have more time to think about it,
Right.
Like,
and it was like, you know what? They're a good person.
We weren't spending every waking moment together, which I think is so important in the beginning of a relationship. I don't know if anyone listening is in the beginning of a relationship.
Save that for we're
getting there. This is we're moving right through.
Oh, nice segue.
Yeah. Like, we weren't spending every moment together, and that allows you to, first off, miss the person, and then when you do see them, you enjoy that time so much more.
Right.
Like, I can't stress that enough. And it lets you, I don't know, it's just, you're still your own person.
Right.
Then you get to see them and be yourself, but
which is
better.
kind of going to be the theme of our conversation with, like, relationship advice and kind of how we made our building blocks of a fairly strong marriage was just flat out do your own thing.
Yeah.
Be your own person. Don't be in one of those relationships where you have to just become the other person. If they can't
meet you in the middle.
If you have to change to make it work, then
right. And not that we haven't changed since we first met and we're dating, because we have, but, like,
I clean up the hair out of the sink.
You don't leave the toilet seat up very often. You did today, randomly. Like, for the first time in a very long time.
I probably had my reasons.
You probably just weren't thinking, and it's okay.
Hey, I had my reasons.
You wanted my tushy to touch the dirty toilet bowl? Because the bathroom is filthy? It's really not that bad.
I think what I was trying to do was teach you a lesson about always being on guard. And, just that once she had to just look out and go, whoop, I could have died. Toilet seat was up.
I mean, it's really not a big deal except in the middle of the night, and we're good because you haven't left it up then in a long time.
I normally put it down, and I put it down at work too, even though there's like 3 men at work and 1 lady. I still put it down at work because I am 1 man and 3 ladies in my house. So it's, and sometimes 4 ladies. So yeah, I'm pretty much surrounded most times. So I got to put the seat down or else I get the whip.
Oh, stop. I completely lost my
We're
brain.
talking
what are we talking about?
Doing your own thing. So,
right.
For example,
yeah.
Did you already have an outline to this? Because I can pretty much just jump into what I appreciate about you letting me do my own thing.
Oh, I just wanted to touch on how we moved in together so quickly, like idiots.
But
I
it
worked
to get
out.
a tissue. So if you want to take a minute to talk.
Let's take a 5-minute break. I need to use the facilities.
Now, to you folks, it's going to be just an instant.
Be right back.
Time travel. And we're back from peeing and grabbing a drink and readjusting Sarah's mic because her pop blocker was
it was what
making her go cross-eyed.
Yeah, it was a little uncomfortable. So
we're on a budget, and I am on this kick of buying sound equipment for the podcast, which you can tell from our crisp and clean sound. I got a new microphone. Sarah did not.
That's okay.
So
I have the fancy radio black thing, the screen.
It's called a pop screen, a pop blocker, a wind screen.
Some people might not know, so I want to describe this.
But
I'm doing the hand motion right now around it.
The actual circle part's great. The gooseneck on it is not.
No.
So it doesn't stay up. So we spent a little time duct taping it up, and now it's good. But
I'm still trying to look at it as I talk, but it's okay. Anyway, so where were we, my dear?
We were talking about doing your own thing.
Right.
So, if I can jump in, let me just ask you an interview question.
Me?
Yes.
Oh, yay.
What did I do last night?
Oh, you went to Sean's right from work. So he didn't come home or anything. He left straight from work. He gets to leave a little early on Fridays, so that's a little plus.
We were going to leave even earlier. Mm-hmm. We got a last-minute rush job. I need this right now, customer. Ooh, pisses me off.
On a Friday afternoon, that is the worst.
Yeah, and this guy was so annoying. Wouldn't shut up, watching me work. And, it was done. And he goes, oh, why can't you do this? And I'm like, we're doing a
Did you Marge Simpson him?
I did have to eventually. I had told him, I was like, dude, one thing at a time. And I was like, and Sarah knows I am an extremely patient person.
He is.
And I was very close to losing my patience. And that's basically mad. Like the equivalent of a regular person getting mad. I'm just like, I am going to lose my patience. Anyway, so go on.
You went to Sean's and you guys recorded an episode of your podcast with Sean. So,
what's that podcast called?
2 dudes drinking lots of beers. Game on.
That's our theme song.
I am a devoted wife, and I do listen to that podcast.
Because it is funny.
It is funny.
But it's a different
It's not for everyone.
No.
So I'm not going to insist our listeners.
If you don't like swear words and dick jokes, you're not going to like it.
I don't know why I thought that was so funny.
I mean, that's pretty much...
It's true. And there's parts that make me laugh out loud, so.
Yeah, LOL.
But that's what he did last night.
Okay, and what time did I get home?
I have no idea because I was asleep.
There you go. So, point being, we know many people who, if that situation happened, I should say know or have known in our lives.
We know they exist. I can't even say if...
I'm not saying like our friends. I'm saying like, you know they exist. There's people we've run into in relationships we've seen that like...
or just like perfect strangers you end up having strange conversations with in waiting rooms.
That is not allowed. Like, it's like, no, you got to come home. You worked all week. You got to come home Friday. But like, Sarah lets me do my own thing because it keeps me sane. And like, I do that. I also, Tuesday nights, I play in a hockey league. That's doing my own thing. And, gets aggression out of my system. Also, just want to throw it out there. I'm also in a much better mood when I score the game-winning shootout goal to win a game. Just throw it. Just for example.
That happened this past week.
Yeah, I know. I was so excited.
It's a good thing that happened because this session of this league, the times of these games are ridiculous. They're like 11:30 at night on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
On a Tuesday.
It's ridiculous.
It's absurd.
But I love playing hockey so much.
But it's not that absurd because I get up at the crack some days to go work out. But I didn't want to
say. And then, Sarah, what do you do half the mornings?
Every week. I get up at 4:45 a.m. This is really humble bragging right now, but I don't really care because it's very early. And right now it's very cold. Stop it. And I go to Pure Barre because it makes me happy.
And what is Pure Barre?
It's ballet-inspired workout classes. It's a full-body workout.
So it kind of sounds like a water that rich people buy that comes in a funny shaped jar.
I feel like when I first started going, because Heather Chandler made me go with her. Thanks, Heather. Hi, Heather. I mean, Rastamaji. I'm sorry, you're married now. Yeah. Anyway, when I first went and then got hooked after like one class, one of our other friends thought it was like learning how to like mix drinks, like a drinking bar, like alcohol. So I thought that was funny. But anyway, it's a very good workout. It just makes me really happy. I did it all through my pregnancy with great results. We'll talk about that maybe later.
You should have seen her stomach. One huge ab.
No.
Turns out it was a baby.
But
we named it Sydney.
But I don't know. It's my little time that I carve out for myself. And I've tried a couple different things. I also used to run quite a bit. And I do plan on trying to get back into that once the weather breaks. But the Pure Barre, it gives me a chance to get out of the house, which is very important when you work from home full time and take care of kids because you kind of get really isolated. So it gives me a chance to talk to other adults.
Right. And the important thing here is like you just have to take those times to do something for yourself.
And it's 100% for me. Like no one like
Sarah tells me all the time that like because I'll be at work and I'll text her and she's like, look, I need to go to the gym, but I feel terrible because I feel like I haven't seen the kids at all. And she is always like, go to the gym. Mm-hmm. Do you? Mm-hmm. And like I appreciate that because I have a terrible like guilty conscience like for no reason at all. And it's just like, oh, I need to go to the gym to be healthier and, you know, be in better shape for my lady.
It's the way I look at it is you'll be a better parent and husband and friend and son and person and human being if you spend that little bit of time on yourself. Right. And it's so true. And I know it's so hard. Like I can already hear people, how do you find the time? I don't feel like I have any time. There's not enough time. You have to just get rid of that mindset.
Yeah. You have a finite amount of time. Like
it's true.
Period. So you just have to compromise and go like, okay. So for me, for example, I go, all right, I get home from work about 5:15. Baby goes to bed about 7:30. Older kid goes to bed about 8:30.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, so I have that much time. I can either spend all that time all week, but then I'm gonna be fat and in a bad mood, and you sleep better when you exercise.
You
I was
do.
like, or
you just feel better.
I can go knock out, and I've got my workout so quick now. Like, I know I should do more, but it's just a matter of like I do what I need to do and get out so I can come back and spend time with my family, and that's compromising. Mm-hmm. And like I don't have like massive results, but I've gained and lost a lot of weight.
Well, the holidays.
I'm maintaining right now.
Didn't help you.
The holidays.
They don't help anyone.
I maintained through the holidays.
People who try to lose weight People who try to lose weight over the holidays.
Yeah, you dumb. Just give up.
Like, I mean, I started going back to Pure Barre consistently right after Thanksgiving, but not with any intention of losing any weight. Like, it was just to kind of
get back into it
and like that
let's
stress
be honest,
relief.
I even noticed like the stress relief aspect of giving Sarah time to go work out and do her thing. Because I know she really loves Pure Barre. But
and leave the house.
Right. But
That's
the thing is,
key.
I know, but you can leave the house and do whatever. Pure Barre is expensive.
It is.
But it's like, you have to weigh it like, it's a little more expensive than the gym. But I'm seeing results. Like, you're in a much better mood and stuff. And that's the whole thing of, like, again, back to it. You gotta let somebody do their own thing and, like, give each other space. Like, if you're with each other 100% of the time, nonstop, that you just, oh, you guys are attached at the hip. And I'm just like, that's not a goal.
Well, and I feel like that's how people lose things to talk about. Like, if you spend all your time with the other person, like, you don't have anything new to contribute.
Like when Donna finished Eric's jokes.
Right. I don't know.
It's that 70s show.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, you have to live in your head with you. And if you spend 100% of your time with your significant other, there is absolutely no room for you. And
there's also no room for any surprises or any excitement. That's just like, oh, here's this person. Let's just, like, I don't know. That's just, I'm glad that
Your
that's one of the
face
things.
is funny.
No, like, it's just one of those things that just worked. Why our relationship is so successful.
I
like,
mean,
even through the ups and downs, we still have that understanding of, like, we're different people. We're gonna fight about things that we have differences of opinion, but, like, that's what keeps it exciting and keeps it fresh.
I don't like to think of them as fights. I think of them as quarterly, intense disagreements. Because at most, in our recent past, 4 times a year, we have this, like, powwow, which I think we're overdue right now. Are we overdue? I think we are.
No, I yelled at you about a month and a half ago, and I still feel real bad about it, but I think that counts.
I don't even remember. When was that?
Sydney was having trouble sleeping.
Oh, no, I needed you to yell at me about that.
And I still...
Don't feel bad.
Okay, let's tell you the funny story. Okay, so this is one of the things, like, the importance of communication and also the importance of, like, sometimes somebody just needs to be told what they need to hear.
They do.
So
it's so true.
Sydney was sleep cycling. She was just going through a growth spurt or something, and she was waking up every night at, like, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning.
It was between 1:30 and 3:30.
But, like, Sarah would get up and stay up with her and try to get her back to sleep the whole time.
Okay, can I interject my side? So she said, anyway, haha, get it?
But anyway. You will get both sides of the story on a relationship podcast.
So she would wake up, and at first, I wouldn't immediately go to her. I'm not that type of mom. I really have learned that sometimes you have to let them put themselves back to sleep. And she historically has been a really good sleeper. So she would wake up, and then I would wait, like, a while to see if she would go back to sleep. But I couldn't go back to sleep because I knew she was still awake.
Can I interrupt you for just a second?
Yes.
I was trying to think of a joke and I couldn't think of the word. I remembered it.
Is it
when you were saying we don't even fight, I just thought of a Star Wars quote, and granted, it's from a shitty movie from Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, but where they're like, "You call that a diplomatic solution?" And it's like, no, it's aggressive negotiations.
Oh, that's good.
Anyway, keep going.
Okay, so she would wake up, and then I would feel the need to stay awake, not go get her or comfort her or try to get her to go back to sleep, but I would just wait. And I would be, like, half asleep with the monitor on the screen.
And if I may jump in just a second, Sarah is a bit impatient.
I really am.
And
I struggle.
when she waits, she wants everyone to know she's waiting. So she can laugh about it now, but at the time, like, she doesn't know that I was awake probably half the time she was awake.
Well, then tell me you were
I was trying to go back to sleep, but then you would sigh so loudly.
Well, maybe you should have been like, honey,
she won't go to sleep.
I'm awake too.
I know.
I am fighting this battle with you because
So-
I felt like you weren't awake.
Okay, now
And you were just
let me
sleeping
take
through
the
it
story
all.
from here.
Okay.
Because I feel terrible. I still feel terrible. It's that whole guilt thing.
Oh my God.
And I'm one of those people that, like, feels empathy more than others, and it really sucks to live with because you, like, yell at somebody who deserves it, and then you feel bad about it. Not you that time. I'm saying, like, other stuff. Anyway.
No, I needed to hear it. Not so much deserved
It'd been like a week and a half of this, and Sarah was on edge and stuff.
Okay, I was on edge because I was sleeping like she was a newborn again, so
Right.
it sucked.
But
continue.
The thing is, like, there was the pattern of it. She would be awake. She would go back to sleep eventually. And I basically, in the nicest way possible, very angrily, with probably some F words in there.
No, you didn't curse at me.
But I thought I did, but I guess not.
You did not. You
But
might have wanted to.
I basically was like, I remember got up and I stood in the door because I knew after I said what I needed to say, I'm going to have to sleep on the couch.
I never have ever forced you to sleep on the couch.
I know, but I did it because I needed to.
Listeners, I have never asked him to sleep on the couch, ever. So don't let him fool you.
I'm making a joke, jeez.
They don't know your sense of humor, like I do.
She did.
I did not. Stop it.
If anybody's listening.
Don't make jokes like that. That's serious.
I'd like to order an angel shot.
Okay, side note. Doesn't it defeat the purpose that, like, every major social media outlet is carrying that story now? It totally killed, like, you can't do it now.
No, the point is to whisper it to the bartender. You can't hear it. Let it go.
Anyway.
So I am standing in the doorway of our bedroom because I'm just, like, sick of it. And I'm like, but at this time, Sarah was, like, hugging the monitor, like, watching her.
I wasn't hugging it.
You were holding it, like, why isn't she going to sleep? And I'm just like...
I was very tired.
I was like, put the monitor down, turn it off. She's fine. She'll go back to sleep. It's like, turn on some white noise on your phone and go to sleep. And, like, I remember you were just like, stop yelling at me. And I was like, I'm not yelling.
I did. Okay, you did yell. I remember that.
But, like,
well, because I was... but can I just give myself...
you just fart?
No, I scratched the chair. Anyway.
That's the kind of relationship we have.
I will give myself an inch of credit. I did say, well, you're not going to be able to sleep because she's going to keep you awake. And you're like, I don't care. I'm going out there. Yeah. I will deal with her, is what you were saying in that moment.
Yeah.
And I think I said, it's about time or something along those lines. That was mean, but it's how I felt at that moment. I don't know
if it's like if my hands are bigger or something, but I have a little technique with Sydney. I pick her up when she's being restless sleeper. And Sarah gets mad because it's like this freaking... that thing on Karate Kid where Mr. Miyagi fixes his leg. It's kind of like that, but with the sleeping baby. Where, like, I just pick her up. I don't talk to her. I'll like, shush her or go, like, you need to sleep. But, like, I'll pat her on the back. I try to lay her head on my shoulder, but I pat her on the back, give her some pats, like, stroke her hair a little bit. And then I very gently lay her right back down. And when she tries to roll over, I push down, like, right above her knee on her thighs, and I hold her legs down. Because that's the first thing she does is try to kick her legs up. Mm-hmm. I hold her legs down very gently. I'm not like, get out of here, little son of a bitch. No, and I hold her down, and the whole time I'm stroking her hair, and I'm just going, shh, you need to go to sleep. And I take her little Allie. That's her little
lovey
comfort animal.
Yeah.
I take Allie, and then she holds Allie. And then I take her little blanket and tuck her up in it, make sure her arms are out. She hates having her arms out.
Yeah, she doesn't like that.
Keep stroking her hair, and you'll feel her kick her legs up because that's when you know she wants to kick up. And I'll put the legs down, make sure she's lying flat, and I'll shh. And then I sneak out the door without a word, and I'd say it's got about a 60% success rate.
Yeah.
Anyway, that pisses Sarah off.
Well, funny thing. For example, today, and this has just digressed into baby talk, but bear with us. We're almost in the home stretch. I'm here during the week. I'm working and taking care of Sydney and balancing all that. And, like, she's been a little combative recently with diaper changes. It's just it's an age thing. But this week she's been good. Like, not really wiggling around a whole bunch. I talk to her and she's cool. She lets me do what I need to do, and
she's cool. She's like, hey, bro, you want to smoke this J after school? She's a cool kid.
She really is. But today, every time I tried to change her diaper, she lost her ever-loving mind.
She did it to me once.
And it's frustrating because I'm like, she doesn't do this when we're here by ourselves. She's showing off because Dad and Sissy are home.
So... getting back to the thing, but I was sleeping on the couch, and, like, I did not sleep that night. Like, it took me probably after I yelled at you.
I slept really well.
Let me get I was on the couch. I slept maybe 3.5 hours that night.
Well, I mean, I slept.
And I remember Sarah came out, gave me a hug, and was like, I slept so well last night. And I was like, Are you fucking kidding me? I was sitting here stressing all night, like, oh man, I feel so bad. She's probably so mad at me right now, and I was just like, it had to be said, but it was, I feel so bad about that. And then I'm like, you did that, and I was like, son of a bitch.
And that's why we work, though. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes the other person has to tell you what you need to hear, but
Even if they don't want to hear it.
even if they don't want, even if it's hard to hear,
Well,
even
what
if
sucks
it's
is, like,
delivered a little rashly at 3 a.m.
our deliveries are different too, because like I'm very sensitive.
You're very anti-confrontational.
Yeah,
You
underneath
do not like
this super tough exterior, I am extremely sensitive and non-confrontational. And Sarah is not confrontational, but
What am I?
you're a nipper. you love to like nip at
Am
a
I like a
conversation.
puppy?
You're kind of passive aggressive.
I am.
But, like-
I know that.
So to attack you, I do got to get kind of aggressive and like let you know, I got to put on the dad voice and let you know, like, everybody knows the dad voice because you only hear it, and when you hear it, you're like, oh.
Get off the tool shed.
Get off the goddamn tool shed. But that's how you have to do it. But it's kind of more difficult for you because if you raise your voice in the wrong way to me, even if you're right, I'm cooked for the rest of the day.
Well, that's also a trigger for you for like past issues.
Yeah. Which,
So we'll get there.
Anyway,
there's a whole episode.
So point being, do your own thing.
Even if it's 3 a.m.
Yeah,
go sleep on the couch.
me and Sarah even yell at each other in our own way. You see, guys, you got to be different people.
But to circle back though, it's just be your own person, but then also bring that. Okay, let me hang on. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
So we took
Okay.
just a small break so I could fix a cable real quick.
Anyway, so do your own thing and bring that clarity that comes with spending some time by yourself. And if you don't know what to do, I don't know, try a couple different things. Read a book, go for a walk, start crafting if you are so inclined. I'm not so much the crafty type, but maybe you are. And just figure out something that makes you happy and feel a little fulfilled, and go do it, and then come back, and then you can be a happier person to your significant other, your husband or wife or girlfriend or boyfriend or what have you. And there was something else I was going to say, and it's completely escaped my brain. I can't remember what it was. Oh, no, I thought I had it, but it's gone again.
Do you want me to pause it so you can think?
No.
Because I'm probably just going to talk about fantasy football or something.
Please don't. It's that's
Sarah
another
got to
thing.
do her own thing, which was having the second worst team in the league.
It was pretty bad. I did okay for a couple weeks, but then it just tanked.
You got boned by Golden Tate.
I did.
Anyway,
Okay. I'm not sure what it was, but it's gone now, sadly.
well, you could seg into our closing segment.
Right. So you spend some time doing you do you. Treat yourself, whatever you got to do. Maybe doing your own thing is going to get a pedicure. Or if you're a dude, going to get a pedicure. Some dudes like pedicures.
Right. Well, some of the things I do for myself, I play hockey, which Sarah doesn't let me.
Yeah, I don't like it
hockey-
when you say that.
Well,
I'm not your keeper.
Let me put it this way, because I say hockey because hockey is a completely different monster than other hobbies because it's equipment that you have to keep up on.
It's expensive.
And
the equipment and the fees.
Hockey teams are closer than other teams, so you basically agree that I'm going to have like 10 to 15 more girlfriends. Like we have like a texting app that it's just the hockey team. And like hockey's just weird. Anyway, but we do that. She lets. Sorry, I didn't mean to say it. I go to the gym. She puts up with me going to the gym as much as I can. I only go like 2 or 3 times a week, but I try.
But it's give and take because like this is the first weekend. This is the first Saturday in months that I haven't gone to Pure Bar, and I'm probably not going tomorrow either because we actually get to go out by ourselves.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rachel.
And that goes into like you do all that time apart. Sometimes you got to do shit together.
You do.
You keep up appearances for tax reasons.
Right. No, but when you have a little one, it's hard to get out of the house. Like, we understand that. We don't have family super close.
And we have and in the house, we have a 1-year-old and a 10-year-old.
Right.
So, like, time is at a premium. Like,
Right.
I'm always, as soon as I get home from work, I'm in demand.
Right.
So, like, there's no relaxation until
we've
8:30.
developed the day date on Sunday afternoons. Like, tomorrow we're going to go see an early movie, which is a plus because it's cheap, and getting someone to come to your house late morning, early afternoon, sometimes easier than in an evening. Anyway, I just hit the pop blocker.
Nerd.
Anyway, but something else we really like to do, because we don't get out of the house a whole lot, after kid bedtime, we enjoy, like I talked about earlier, many a TV show in multiple episodes at once.
And not only do we enjoy it, we'll, like, have discussions about it.
We do.
And I'm pretty sure there's been times where we'll, like, text each other, like, I was thinking about the show.
We have.
And, which I'm not trying to, like, take the magic away from it. Totally text with Sean, too, about shit.
I know how much you text with Sean. You and
Sons of
Sean
Anarchy.
text more than Shelby and me. Hi, Shelby. I love you. Anyway, Shelby's my oldest, bestest friend, which she has a toddler and twins a couple months younger than our youngest.
We can brag about it, Shelby. Jesus, show
So
off.
the mamas are kind of busy doing their mama thing, while my husband and his BFF, and I'm sure her husband and his BFF,
Hey, we
are
had
just
some
texting
important
all
Sons
day
of Anarchy
long.
theories to discuss. Anyway. But that's kind of our thing that we do. And I'm sure that's the thing that, like, 90% of America does now that Netflix and Hulu are a thing.
I'm
and
sure.
HBO Go. And
Yeah.
But we binge shows. And I'm not just talking about, like, oh, there's a new girl this week. I'm talking about, like, hey, here's this show we've never watched. Let's watch all of it tonight.
Well, I mean, we can't do that as much as we did before Sydney was here, but, like, we'll watch one episode, and then we watch
that means, like, 3.
at least 2,
Yeah.
sometimes 3. I lose sleep over these
So
TV shows.
we were kind of joking earlier. We're like, that could totally be a segment of, like, what are you binging this week? And it is a thing to say, like, we're doing something together and to show the example of that, but also to say, like, you guys need something to watch. Here's what we're watching.
Exactly.
So some of the things we have binged on, Sopranos,
Recently.
Game of Thrones. Oh, Sopranos. See, I'd already seen it, and Sarah had not.
I watched it over my maternity leave last year.
Yeah, on her maternity leave, she started watching it, and I was like, shit, yeah, I haven't seen this in so long, and I started watching it.
So I will say, in hindsight, probably wasn't the best choice because of my emotions. Like, it's a very emotional show. And
That makes it good, though.
I was already dealing with a lot of, like, stress and anxiety. Again,
Babies aren't that hard.
we'll touch on that. It's not so much. It wasn't her.
I
It was
know.
me. It was
You ladies in your lady parts doing things.
right. But anyway, right now we're watching The Man in the High Castle.
Which I will say, first few episodes didn't quite grab me.
Yeah.
It's
The idea is what sucked me in, like, just hearing
Yeah.
about it. If you don't know, it's based on a book. The author, I do not know his name, but
Philip K. Dick.
is that really his name? No, it's not. I really thought that was his name for a minute.
It is his name.
No, it's not. Is it really?
Live on air.
He's going to Google
It
so
does
I can
sound like a
see
made-up
it.
name.
Well, I will give him a quick. If you haven't heard of it, it's on Amazon Prime. It's is it science fiction? Would you consider that genre?
Yeah, there, Philip K. Dick.
That
It's
is
a
his
real
name.
person. It does
That's-
sound like I just made
It
it up.
sounds like you just made it up. Anyway,
It was written by John C. Balsackheimer.
it's if the Nazis would have won World
and the
War II.
Japanese. So if the Axis powers won.
Right.
They haven't mentioned Italy.
No.
That just popped in there.
No.
No. Let's see. See, they don't mention us.
Anyway.
That's not. Oh.
No, that was a really bad,
bad. Hi,
Family
Kitty.
Guy reference. Anyway, I am obsessed with, like, dystopian.
Yeah, Sarah really
Not
loves
that this
the
was dystopian,
future and dystopian.
But because of my background in sociology, anything that has to do with how society could be different than it actually is, like if history would have been different, anything like that just really piques my interest. And even though the first few episodes were really slow, we still watched, and it's really picked up. Although Luke had a very good point at one of his issues with the show is there's like zero humor.
No, okay. Some of the other shows you watch, Sopranos.
You're right.
Every episode has humor. And one thing, I call it the, I should say it's an Akira Kurosawa toy.
What
tool.
was that?
Akira Kurosawa tool.
What is that? I don't know what that is.
He's a Japanese director who did the main movie. He did Seven Samurai. And
is that Tom Cruise?
No, that was the last samurai. This movie is from like black and white days.
Don't talk like I should know what you're talking about.
Anyway, okay. And he also did this other movie. Oh, I feel terrible. I can't remember the name.
It's okay.
It's the movie that basically George Lucas ripped off to make Star Wars. But the tool is to always have those characters to lighten the mood. And I call them the C-3PO R2-D2 characters.
The Jar Jar Binks.
No.
I just said that because I knew it would bother him.
Go to the library and read about divorce papers if you say that again.
We don't talk about divorce.
Sorry, annulment papers.
We got too much.
Yeah,
we're too far right at this point.
You have to have those characters to lighten the mood every now and then. Like Sopranos had like Polly Walnuts, and Tony was funny from time to time, and Sal was funny from time to time. Game of Thrones has Bronn and Tyrion and Arya, and they're still like badass and breaking and like being cool, but they're also like they're smart asses and stuff.
Right.
The Man in the High Castle has like no humor.
No.
And that's one thing that really bugged me because I'm like, hey guys, you can't be high tension all the time. I call it the Precious effect. Mm-hmm. If you've ever watched the movie Precious, based on a novel by Sapphire. Like, bad shit just keeps happening, and eventually you're like, oh, fuck, come on. Like, really?
I mean, I will play devil's advocate here, and my opinion to counter his point on this show is
which I
perhaps
have a counterpoint.
Perhaps the writer felt that if the Axis powers would have won World War II, there's no humor left in the American people. It's not. It's a very sobering. The storyline is very sobering.
What does that say about his opinion of the American people? Our resolve would be strong enough to like, know how like in Nazi Germany, how like the Jewish people had to hide their temple. What would you call it? Their rituals, their religious stuff. So like Americans, we'd put up curtains and stuff. And then, like, tell jokes and have stand-up comedy hour. And
I mean...
But I'm saying, like, that's part of our resolve, just our cynicism and stuff, so... Excuse me.
Oh, that was like an 8.
Ooh. Anyway, so the whole point... I guess we didn't mean to get into the show that much.
No, we didn't.
But anyway, that's what we're currently binging on as a couple.
It's a good show.
Is Man in the High Castle. And if we could also... we're binging on The Simpsons... that's something we're doing with my middle daughter.
Luke has spent many years being single dad before me, so he has a hard time letting me have a little ownership, and that's okay. But I'm trying to help him.
I guess it's easier than saying my daughter, your stepdaughter.
Well, you just say our. I'm here too.
One of the children living in our domicile.
Our 10-year-old.
Anyway, she had never seen The Simpsons, and I was like, "What?" So when I took custody of her, in a good way. This is not taking custody of her for any bad thing. That's probably a terrible way to say it. When she came to live with us,
right?
We have a very good relationship with her mother,
right?
So
it's just the best. It's the best situation for her.
Technically, she lives with us now, but she had never seen The Simpsons and stuff. I was like, oh man, that's such a huge part of my childhood. So now, like, when we have spare time, we'll watch The Simpsons. And we started from episode 1.
When did we start that?
We started it, last summer.
2015. It was when she first moved in.
Yeah. But I'm saying summer, before school started.
Golly.
So we're about a year and a half in.
Well, 16 months, because Sydney's 15.
Barely halfway through.
We're on season 18.
I know.
It's insane.
We just, I guess we're probably about 400.
How many episodes are there? Or seasons? I'm sorry, seasons.
Let's just put it in episodes because it sounds better. There's like over 600 episodes.
So many.
But here's the thing to think about. We've watched over 300 episodes. I think we're on about like 350 or 360. You wrap your mind around that?
The episode we watched one this evening. It was from 2007, and all I could think was like,
it's not even widescreen.
It's 10 years old.
Yeah.
Like, it's so crazy
Shit
to
blows
think
my mind.
it's the same age. We should have told her that this episode, it's the same age as you.
Well, she was born 2006.
Well,
but I get it.
Almost, and change. Like, she'll be 11
But
this
anyway,
year.
like, you can also binge shows with your children if it's something you can share with them as a
Yeah.
family. Just find stuff to bring your family together. For us, like, I just crave media, music, movies, TV, all that stuff. So, like, I like to share that with my wife. And, like, I don't know if you watched as much stuff. I've showed Sarah so many movies and things that were, like, me. And some that she was like, what the hell is this? Like, UHF.
That was the chair, by the way. I scratched the chair again, if anyone heard that.
Like, UHF and Caveman were two movies where you were like, what the fuck?
I think I fell asleep during both of them.
But then there's other stuff that, like, you know, we binge the shows together.
A show that I introduced you to was Friends.
You didn't introduce me.
You were not a fan, though. You were not a fan before me.
No. Let me clear
You
it
didn't
up.
appreciate it.
Don't say it like that. I liked
you told
the show.
me that.
No, I liked the show. I wasn't the, like, super fan that I am now. Because it was one of those shows that was on syndication, and I would watch it and be like, that's a funny show. But it wasn't until we were dating and you was like, oh, yeah, like, I watch Friends a lot. And I was like, yeah.
I think I started buying the box sets before we moved in together.
And then that became kind of a thing of our marriage. It was
Yeah.
like, we would get another box set and be like, oh my God, we're so close to 10.
You would buy them for me for presents. It would be an easy present for you.
Yeah, but then your easy presents were buying me Futurama box sets.
Mm-hmm. And Family Guy.
Yeah. So, but now we have Netflix and stuff, so so the point of all this this is where our rambles happen.
I know. What time are we at here?
We're at we can stop now. We're at over an hour.
Oh.
But anyway, like, so
episode 1. Woo!
To sum up,
we have to come up with a name.
we're Luke and Sara.
Yeah.
But we've been through a lot of shit. There's just a little taste of us. Sarah was messing with the pop screen, and I'm sitting here like, it doesn't need to be dead center. Anywho, point being is, like, the lessons of today are do your own thing, do what you got to do to be a better person in your relationship. And then once you've earned that,
and don't feel guilty about it. Like, that's a big thing. I'm going to do a little tiny tangent really quick.
we've been married almost 7 years, and I'm still feel bad about stuff.
And I know,
it's just a thing.
And that's who you are. But I know a lot of my ladies, my mamas especially, it's the mommy guilt, and it's there, and you have to just shut it up and say, you know what? I'm going to be a better mom, a better wife, a better friend, just a better human being if I take this time to do what makes me happy, to do what recharges me. And you're just a better person, and you're going to live a better life because of it. I know it sounds super cheesy and super like self-help, but it's so true. Like, and I mean, really, you have to take care of yourself at the end of the day. You live with you inside your head. I can't get over that enough.
I moved in with me. I live with me.
I mean, I spend a lot of time inside my head. I'll admit it. I'm the first to admit that. I spend my days literally by myself with a baby. Am I too close now? Hi, hello?
Get out of there.
Anyway, sorry, I was being silly. But just don't feel bad about spending an hour a week. Even if that's all, start small.
If that's all you need,
If
great.
that's all you need, that's great. Personally, it's not enough for me. It has to be a little more frequent. But take your time. Don't feel bad about it. You'll be a better person in the end. And especially in our country right now, you have to take care of yourself. Our country, we're in a scary place, in my opinion. In a lot of people's opinions, probably.
So
But let's not go there right now. That's
let's not get too political. You
no.
keep it,
Yeah. Try to make this a happy thing for people.
So, that's pretty much all we have.
Yeah.
And we hope to eventually offer, we're not just going to talk about ourselves the whole time. So it's just getting to know us. I know all of our first listeners this first round are going to be probably our friends going like, oh, these self-important sons of bitches thinking they can do a podcast.
We can tell me how to be a better person.
Who gave them the right? Anyway.
We can be funny. I mean, I thought we were kind of funny.
We try.
We were, I mean, really. But send us an email, shoot us a message on Instagram or Facebook.
I think my biggest hope is if people have any questions or concerns about their relationship, their family, their kids, a hobby they have. I mean, if you have like an electrical engineering question, I can't help you. But I'm saying like, a hobby, I mean like finding time to do it and anything along that sort. Marriage, kids, family, stuff you grew up with that you're having trouble with. Like I'm not a licensed psychologist or anything, but I can just say me and Sarah have been through enough shit that we can probably cover what it is that you're concerned about, or we can point you in the right direction, or we can Google it.
Right, and we might be kind of funny when we give you an answer.
We'll lighten the mood.
It's entertaining.
So if you have a question,
give us a reason to continue doing this and talking to each other, you know?
Otherwise, you're going to get an hour plus of silence. And Sarah going, remember that time you yelled at me? That was fucked up.
I feel like flattered that I forgot about that. I'm not even kidding you. Like, my me time serves me so well that I'm such a balanced human that I haven't even thought about that.
I had to tell Sean, and I was like, dude, you won't believe what happened.
I cannot believe this. This is so funny. I don't even know. I yelled
at my wife, and she thanked me.
I don't even think I told anyone about it. Shelby, I'm going to ask you about this. So maybe, hopefully you're listening. I don't think I even mentioned it. I don't.
Oh, I'm glad I'm that important to you.
It's because I thanked you for it. Because I was thankful that you did it because it needed to be said.
Like, I thanked you. I'm off the hook now. Anyway. So if you have anything like that, you want to strike up a conversation, add to the conversation, and get both sides of the story from a he and a she who will said stuff. Hence the name.
Right. Let me plug all of our outlets again really
here
quick.
are all the ways you can contact us.
We're on Facebook at He Said, She Said Podcast. Like us on there. We are on Instagram at He Said, She Said PC. Or you can email us at He Said, She Said PC @gmail.com.
And I now have access to the email too, so that's neat.
Yeah, your name's on it, so it's good that you can check. Yeah, it says Luke and Sara on the signature.
Oh, okay.
I think so. I don't know. I set it up 2 years ago, so.
Anyway, that's about it. So we have that, and if you guys have ideas for segments and things that you think would be something funny to ask us about or find out how we dealt with something.
I just long sighed really bad into the microphone, so
Why,
sorry.
because I won't shut up?
No, I think because I just wasn't breathing through all of those plugins. Anyway, let's end this.
What was that? Giggity goo. May I quote the great Michael Scott? That's what she said.
I don't want to end it on that. Is that what he said too? Get it?
No, because you said
Get it? No.
I see what you're trying to do, but I'm not accepting it.
No, not at all.
Okay, this is what we refer to as petering out.
PETA.
All right. We're going to end this podcast now. So thank you all for listening to the inaugural episode of He Said, She Said, a relationship podcast where you get both sides of the story from a very successful married couple who have kids and shit. So
we went from at the beginning, you were like, I think we do okay in our marriage, to a very successful couple at the end.
Well, at the beginning of the podcast, I was unsure, but after some convincing, I think.
And a couple Modelos.
Oh, yeah. Normally, we're not going to be, we probably won't be drinking for every single one.
No.
We're trying to tone down instead of the, like, I had a shitty day, I'm going to have a drink, to do it like, I had a shitty day. This Saturday, let's have drinks.
Right. And we did good this week.
We did.
Anyway.
So
we're
that's
rambling.
our show. Thank you guys so much for listening. If we happen to be on iTunes by the time this airs, go to iTunes and subscribe. Otherwise, you can find us on podbean.com. I don't remember the link, so
But there's an app for your iPhone or other smartphone device.
That Podbean has. And we'll put a link on the Facebook, so make sure you check that out. So thus ends our rambling. So thank you all for listening, and we'll probably be back in a week.
Good morning, good noon, and good night.
The hell?
People
Good
might
noon?
listen. Good noon. Good
Is that a
day.
thing?
Oh, good day.
Good noon, everybody. It's probably on their commute, so
It could
either
be morning.
I'm sorry you're going to work, or congratulations, you're off work.
Right. Woo!
All right.
Do you. You do you.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Have
Bye.
a nice time.
Bye-bye.